I used to have this, there are lots of ways to describe it. Mental disorder. This idea that others' needs came before mine, that it was more important to make sure everybody else got what they needed before I thought about getting anything for myself. And it boils down to really being a worthiness issue. Am I going to be loved if I'm taking up space, if I'm asking for what it is that I want? Am I going to be loved if I am authentic? Am I going to be loved if I say, I don't like that? Am I going to be loved? Am I going to be loved? And it was a challenging uh, distortion in my perspective to overcome because it felt so true. It felt like every time I tried to speak up for myself, something bad would happen. And that was true. There were lots of times that I tried to speak up for myself and something bad happened. One massive example of that is in 2006, I had a partner who I was in a relationship with. We were in an argument and we were texting back and forth. And I was telling him, after being with him for a few years, how I felt, how I had felt that as if I was betrayed and that he had been disloyal to me. And that was true. He had been. But I was finally voicing that and like, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. And I really explained how I was feeling. And in that moment, while we were texting, he took his life. And I didn't find out until the next day. The text messages just quit coming. And that would start me on a path of feeling validated in the belief that if I spoke up and spoke about what it is I want, that bad things happen. It took me probably it took me probably 15 years, 14, somewhere in there, of suffering and feeling responsible and feeling guilty and feeling shame, before I started to understand that that was his choice, um, that he didn't let me know he was feeling the way he was feeling because he knew that if I knew, I would do whatever I could to stop it. I loved him very much. It was a very toxic relationship, but I loved him very much. And in that moment of understanding that it was his responsibility, he is the one that carries the responsibility, not me, and that I should be able to explain how I feel without something like that happening. I should be able to feel that way. I should be able to say what I feel without something like that happening. Before I started to realize that, like, it's not connected. Just because that happened does not mean that I don't get to have the needs that I have and that I don't get to express the way I'm feeling in a relationship. It was a very traumatic situation. But I look back on my life and I realize that there were many times where I had, on a smaller scale, spoke up for myself and suffered what I felt like were consequences because of it. And what I learned through my own journey of self-awareness is that these thought patterns that we have are are with us when we come in. It's something that I came into this life, whether you want to believe this or not about yourself, you get to choose. I want you to listen, and if it resonates, fine. If not, that's fine too. But the way that it makes sense in my energy field at this point is that I came into this life with this this filter, like a VR headset, that had me believing that that's true. I'm not safe. I won't be loved if I speak up, if I'm the fullest expression of me. My needs do not come first. Other people come first. And then as I went through life, life unfolded and validated that belief for me. The way my parents behaved, the way I related to my sister, there was evidence always around me going, see, that's true. And it doesn't mean necessarily that that is true, though, is what I've come to understand. I can switch the filter. I can switch the filter. I can decide that the opposite is true. But the way that the filter is set up is it's very hard. It feels very hard to take it off. It feels very hard to switch it because it is one of the stickier ones, or it's one of the it's it's something that is so ingrained and harder to shift. But it expresses itself in my life in so many different ways. The way that I relate to my children, the way my children relate to me, the way I was as an employee or contractor for employers. It showed up in so many different ways and in all areas of my life. It affected all areas of my life, not just romantic partnerships, but the way I felt about my family, the way I felt about my sister, the way I felt about my kids, everything. I could see that it was not safe for me to be me. When I started looking at it as if it was something that I could control, I started playing around with that, because if I can have a belief and it will be shown in my external reality as true, I could hold the opposite and that will be shown in my external reality as true. And it really started to highlight that the way that I feel about myself, the way that I treat myself, is how you shift that. So I had to start working on forgiving myself first and foremost for the things that I did not know previously. I had to forgive myself for being unconscious and acting from the pain rather than the way I would view the situation today and act from awareness. There was a lot of forgiveness that happened that went into that, and a lot of it was mostly pointed towards my younger self, my little 8-year-old self, because there were a lot of times that she had to hold her tongue. She couldn't say what she wanted to say because she was afraid. And the more I sat with her and listened to her tell me how many times I told her to be quiet so that we could get love or get something, then I had to forgive myself for those times as well. I had to realize that I had abandoned myself, that it wasn't others doing it to me, but it was actually me doing it to her, the younger self. As I started sitting with this and really accepting this process, so I started understanding that it was my job to validate myself. It was my job to give myself the appreciation. It was my job to understand myself. And the more I did that, the more I really sat with that and gave myself compassion and grace for when I didn't know the answer, or when I was scared, or when I took a wrong turn that I consider to be a wrong turn, the more I sat with that and realized that as long as I can do this for myself, I don't need to depend on anyone else to do it for me. And therefore, it doesn't matter how anyone else views me. It doesn't matter what my parents think about me. It doesn't matter what my sister thinks about me. It doesn't matter what my kids think about me. And by the way, they all love me. That's the kicker. Once you start giving yourself what it is that you feel like you're not getting, or the thing that feels the hardest to overcome, once you start giving it to yourself, you start to realize, actually, these people have been showing up for me this entire time. I just couldn't see it because I had that filter on. And then you also start to realize, wait a minute, the all, source, energy, God, the universe is showing up for me too. I just couldn't see it because I had this idea that I was limited or that I was not worthy of it. And it really did take conscious awareness of, how am I not respecting myself? Do those dark nights of the soul where you don't even want to get out of bed and do your laundry? Are you treating yourself with respect and love? No. Those times that you answer the phone call and you know that they're asking you something draining, that it's going to drain your energy. They're taking more from you and you just don't have anything else to give, and you say yes anyway. Is that loving yourself? No, it's not. When you pause and say, you know what, let me evaluate my schedule. Let me look at my schedule and I'll get back to you. Is that loving yourself? Yes. Are you loving yourself? Are you showing up for yourself? Do you feel like your sense of worth and value is tied to whatever your status is at this point in your life? And what does that say about your sense of worth and value? I've started to really practice understanding, and it is a practice of understanding, that my sense of worth and value come from who it is I am. Who am I being? Am I honest? Am I acting in integrity? What's my character like? Am I willing to help people who need help? Do I judge? Do I lie? Do I cheat? Do I steal? Do I try to get away with things? I can honestly look at my character and know that I am a good person. If you struggle with that, start today. I made a decision a long time ago that I would be honest with myself no matter what. Even if the honesty was that I was acting in a way that is not in character or in integrity. That even though I might find that I've been lying to myself, and as soon as I find out that I've been lying to myself, I correct it. And you can make that shift today. But your worth and value have nothing to do with what you've achieved in this lifetime. Your worth and value are inherent to you. You are worthy simply because you exist. You're not entitled, but you are worthy. And you have value simply because you exist. Because God's love is running through you. Unconditional love and light is running through you at all times. You cannot escape that. You can only limit it, the expression of it. So when I started understanding that and really practicing the understanding of that, I began to evaluate more how I'm being in every moment. And when I noticed that the external reality is making me feel as if I'm not worthy, or others' needs come before my own, I pull it back to myself. I point it back to myself and say, how am I not prioritizing my needs? Where am I putting my needs on the back burner so that I can make sure other people are taken care of? And it's my responsibility to put myself first in my own life. Because if I'm not doing that, then I'm no good to anybody. If I'm not putting myself first in my own life and respecting myself and my needs, then I'm the one that's telling that little girl inside of me to be quiet. You don't matter. Nobody else is. We all have the choice. We have the ability to choose in every moment how we're being. And it can be a moment by moment situation. And when I start to realize that it's me that puts my needs on the back burner, nobody else, I start to realize how many people have shown up for me and been here to support me and actually want to hear what it is that I have to say. At first, when you start changing this about yourself, people will respond to you in a way that is probably not favorable. It might trigger some insecurity within you, and that's okay. But eventually, you will find your voice and you will be able to speak it to the fullest expression, and they will listen and they will lean in. Because when you believe in yourself and you believe in what you know to be true, when you know yourself, others will either get triggered or they will lean in. And the ones that get triggered, that's fine. That's for them to figure out. It's not for you. Your job is to be the fullest expression of who you are, because the fullest expression of who you are is the creator. You are the most powerful energy in your experience. But if people are treating you with disrespect, if people are treating you, if they're taking advantage of you, if they're treating you like you're not a priority, if they're treating you like you're a joke, if they're treating you like, you can't trust them, if they're treating you like they're taking advantage of you, that all can shift within you. You can shift all of that within you, because once you start focusing on yourself and learning how to trust yourself, learning how to value and respect yourself by the littlest things, then it starts reflecting back to you. People will treat you differently. It's an energy. It's energy. And they will treat you differently. And you will see how your perception has just been a little bit distorted. You will see a shift in the way people treat you. And that's why it's important to take whatever the feedback is in your own life, whether it's with a coworker or anyone. The stickiest relationships are the ones that are the closest to us, that mean the most to us. So it might be with, a parent or a child or a partner. The stickiest relationships are the ones that mean the most to us. And a lot of times people have, the awakening, and then they're like, I'm going to move to a different country and live in peace and paradise. You take yourself with you, and you will meet characters that will show you the same thing you were supposed to learn when you stayed where you were at. I'm not saying to stay in an abusive relationship. That's never what I'm saying. If you are being abused, find help to get out of that, and know that you deserve to be in a relationship that is supportive and with somebody that prioritizes you, and with somebody that truly wants to be a partner with you. You deserve that. And if you don't feel deserving of that, this is the type of work that you need to do. Really focusing on why don't I? And many of us don't want to talk to our inner child because there's so much trauma there. There's so much pain there. And I can understand that, but there are ways of working with your inner child without getting traumatized again. I have methods that I use with my clients, and I know there's a lot of like somatic work, but I do a lot of work and meditation with the inner child to help shift the perspective without re-traumatizing you. So if you need help, please connect with me. So many of us avoid it. We don't want to do that work. And you get to choose. It's your life. You get to choose. But if you are in a situation where you feel like you're getting taken advantage of or abused, or maybe you don't want to call it that. Maybe you don't want to call it that because, words these days. But if you're living a life that is not comfortable and you don't like it, and you would like something different, these are the things that are going to help you get that. You have to change the way that you're viewing yourself and change the way you're treating yourself. And instead of treating others the way you want to be treated, treat yourself the way you want to be treated first. And then others will treat you the way you want to be treated. It's just the way it works. It's just the way it works. And that is influencing your reality. I used to have so many experiences where I would go, just even running simple errands, and people would just be mean to me, rude to me, cutting me off, just awful. I didn't want to go into public because it wasn't nice. I didn't like it. Now I don't have a problem. I go into public and I find people that are so positive and uplifting. I have remarkable experiences with people in public now because I've changed the way that I view myself and the way that I love myself and the value that I know I inherently have. And that makes it easier when you're thinking about receiving money that in unlimited ways. Money can come to you. There are infinite ways money can come to you. There are many, many different channels that money flows to us through. But the sense of worth, the sense of worthiness, am I worth? Is it okay for me to have that if I didn't earn it? Is that okay? Is it okay if I can have that if I didn't work hard for it? Yes. Yes. That's what we're here to learn. We're here to remember that. We're here to remember that. And learning to give yourself what it is you desire. And a lot of us, it's not material things. It's things like acceptance, like love. Love is such a loaded word, but I practice often telling myself, it's okay. I'm never going to give up on you. No matter what we do, I'm never going to give up on you. Or if I think about how, maybe I had an interaction with somebody and you lay awake with anxiety or whatever, I'll just say, F it. Let myself off the hook. Big deal. Nobody's thinking about you that hard anyway. It's only you that's thinking about you that hard. I remember that when I used to drink way back. I used to drink and I would wake up with the anxiety. And my girlfriend and I were talking about it one time, and she was telling me, she was like, I can't believe I did this and that and whatever. And I was like, yeah, nobody's thinking about you. Nobody is thinking about you. They're waking up thinking about how they acted. Just like I woke up and thought about how I acted. I didn't think about how you were acting. I thought you were fine. So don't take it so seriously, but also give yourself that grace and be like, girl, it's okay. It's fine. You're fine. Let's move on. I love you. You have to give yourself what it is that you are craving other people to give you. You have to. And then you will see it in the external world. And when you view other people, try to, this is going to be a tricky one, try to soften your heart and recognize that they're trying to find their way too. Because our brain, our ego, our limited self wants to judge and make yourself feel better, make yourself feel superior, make you feel better than by imagining they are not doing great or well. So when you view other people and you have a moment where you're judging them and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy, try to soften your heart and wish the best for them. That's it. That practice alone will open a flow of miracles to your life that you cannot imagine. If you genuinely wish others well, if you genuinely wish them to succeed, even the people that are annoying you, especially those, you will see things happen that will be hard for you to understand with your logical mind. And you will resist it. You'll resist that it was you that did that. You will want to call it a coincidence. I had a situation the other day. It had been going on for a while. It was the people that live above me. I'm in an apartment complex, and the people that live above me had somebody staying with them, and he had been staying with them for more than a month. And he was somebody that was very active. He did not appear to be sober. He's very hyperactive, so if that gives you any indication. Running around all the time. I'm on the bottom floor. He was spending a lot of time outside my bedroom window, not looking in my bedroom window, but that's just where he'd like to hang out. And he would visit with, I think it must have been a girlfriend and her small children or his small children, I don't know. But they would just camp out in front of my bedroom window and have picnics. He would be up all night long working on vehicles right next to my bedroom window. Like it was just a nuisance. And it didn't make me feel unsafe, but I didn't like it. It didn't feel peaceful. I didn't like it at all. And one day I was looking at them having their picnic in front of my bedroom window. And I just stopped and I said, my heart, I could feel my heart soften. And I said out loud, I hope he gets sober. I hope he gets a job. I hope he gets a big win. I hope he gets a big win with a lot of money so that he can get his own place and have a nice family, a nice home for his family. I really hope that. And I meant it. I really did. And it was a different kind of energy for me because in the past, it would be it was natural for me, and I'm not proud of this, but this is part of accepting yourself, is sharing the parts that you're not proud of. It would have been easy for me to just judge him and gossip and talk to the neighbors about how awful it is and whatever, because he's acting in such a limited way. He didn't have any spatial awareness, any awareness of what is his space and what is other people's space. Like it would have been easy and natural, and it is, for the human to be like, ugh, this guy. But instead of complaining, I caught myself and immediately wished him well. I really wanted him to succeed. And I was genuine in that feeling. And when I did that, I felt different. And then 2 days later, my neighbor that lives up there, he said to me, my buddy got a new place and he's moving out today. And I've never even talked to that neighbor up there. And I said, oh, that's great. I'm so happy for him. And I was. And immediately felt in my spirit the awareness that it was my energy. It was the shift I needed to make for this to influence the reality I'm experiencing. And you can believe that or not, but I encourage you to practice it. Practice the way you're looking at others. And when you catch yourself judging them, remember that there's only love. There's love and there's judgment. And when you're judging others, you are not in love. And when you are in love, that is the most powerful frequency you can be in. And it has the ability to shift your life in remarkable ways. Ways that you will never logically understand. And your brain will pass off as a coincidence. But this is how you influence your reality. Taking small steps to learning that you are worthy, that you have value, and that your worth and your value have nothing to do with what you've accomplished in life. It comes from who you are. Who are you being? What type of person are you being? Forgive yourself for the things that you have done when you were unconscious or didn't know any better, and start being who you want to be today. Your worth and your value come from who you're being and nothing else. And when you give yourself what it is that you want from the world starts giving it to you. You start seeing it around you. It shifts your perspective to that of God, source, love, all. It shifts your perspective. And then you start allowing the love that this entire universe has for you. When you see the miracles unfold in your life, you will feel so loved and so on purpose, so intentionally here. You can start allowing that in, and it starts by giving it to yourself first. That's the message for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Have an amazing day, and I'll catch you on the next one.